welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller, and we're so happy to have Colin Jost on the program. He's a head writer at Saturday Night Live, a Weekend Update co-anchor, and a touring stand-up comedian. He has 5 Writers Guild Awards, 2 Peabody Awards, and a PETA Ellie Award for the sketch Diner Lobster, which I just watched again for the 40th time. Colin, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for watching Diner Lobster 40
Oh,
times.
my gosh. I mean,
that's the right number. That's healthy.
I think so. How about Keenan in there? I mean, when you write stuff for SNL and it comes out like that and is performed like that, I mean, that's got to be over the top for you, right?
I mean, imagine you're Keenan, you know, and you imagine you told a young Keenan, someday you're going to be on SNL and you're going to play a lobster who is also the French musical character Jean Valjean. and you're young Keenan. Do you think, like, I don't know what any of those words are? What are you saying? This is crazy?
I think if you're Keenan, you go.
That's where his life went.
I think if you're Keenan, you go, is Kel going to be with me? That's your first thought.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. That's true.
So Colin has a brand new book out called A Very Punchable Face. It's a memoir. And isn't this really just a cry for help? Isn't this? Aren't you trying to make people feel sorry for you with this book?
I think all memoirs are a cry for help on some level, you know?
I mean, we already felt...
not listening to you in your real life that you have to write it all down.
Right.
You know?
We already felt bad for you because you're quarantined with Scarlett Johansson, and now you add this thing in the mix. I mean, this is the book is so hilarious.
Oh, thank you very much. I really, I'm really proud of it. I worked 5 years on it, and I wanted to get it right, and I wanted to, I started out as a writer, obviously, and I wanted to use my writing skills, my writing brain in another kind of way, and I think it's kind of the purest form of me, and I think you learn a lot about SNL reading it that you wouldn't know, and certainly a lot about my life, and I think it's easy. It's like short chapters. I think a lot of fun information. I'm excited about it.
Well, and as you write in the book, some of you think you know me, but you're actually thinking of the villain from an 80s movie who tries to steal the hero's girlfriend by challenging him to a ski race. Now, is this some kind of a precursor to what you will do after SNL? Are you looking at playing villains?
Oh my God, I should. I got to say that the best villain part I've gotten to play so far was at WrestleMania. Michael Che and I fought in Giant Stadium.
Oh wow!
During WrestleMania, and I came out. So there's 82,000 people, and I came out in an Odell Beckham Cleveland Browns jersey. The week after he had gotten traded from the Giants. And I'm a Giants fan, but I was like, this is good of a joke. And the boos that you heard, I mean, I was going out, the professional wrestlers before I walked out were like, are you sure you want to do this, man? They have batteries. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go for it. And the level of booing was deafening. It was so fun. It's so thrilling to be a villain. I didn't realize, I mean, I feel like some people have thought of me as a villain for years, but actually embracing it and getting to play the villain was very satisfying.
We're talking to Colin Jost from Saturday Night Live here on the National Defense. I love what Larry David said about the book. I always wanted to punch his face before I read this book. Now I just want to kick him in the balls. Now, so would that lead to another book called Some Very Kickable Balls? Is that in the works?
Oh my God, yeah, that's great. I don't know if there's a book that gets censored, but yeah, let's do it.
I cannot believe that you've been at SNL for about 15 years.
Yeah, yes, mostly as a writer, and then before I started doing Weekend Update. But yeah, I had this whole. That's part of why I wanted to write it too. I wanted people to know about this whole weird world of my life before I was known in any way or before I was on Update, because I had a real long run, a very fun time at SNL as a writer with no responsibility when I was not being judged constantly on camera. So it was a time that I wanted people to know about. But
now you also described this as a memoir. I thought you had to be like 80 or 85 to write a memoir.
Oh, I am. I just have a lot of stem cells. I've been doing a lot of stem cell therapy. I started writing at SNL when I was 70.
Right. So
I wanted to write. I didn't want to write a memoir where I was looking back at the good old days. I wanted to write a memoir that was about the recent parts of my life, because I wanted them to be still vivid in my mind, and I wanted to have be close to my own, perspective on it, and have. I think I was kind of excited because you don't see that a lot, and I wanted to get it while almost to kind of close this chapter of my life in some way, and I think there's enough really strange adventures that I've been through till now that I wanted to get them down.
Yeah, so you talk about in the book, you're growing up in a family of firefighters in Staten Island, commuting 3 hours a day to high school, and seeing the sights like watching a Russian woman throw a stroller off the back of a ferry. And you also talk about crapping your pants, which I want to get to because this is something that is key in my life that has happened. And I think this happened in front of your wife. Is that right?
There's probably been moments of that, yes. I think what I wanted to do was to, we all go through this. We all struggle. As my mom said to a younger me, accidents happen. And I think it's good that we have some solidarity and we're able to talk about this and not live in shame anymore.
I've never told this story to anyone outside my family, but we have horses. We live on a ranch, and we went for a very long horseback ride one day, and we came back to the barn, and I could not hold anything back, and so the day ended up with my wife hosing me off in front of a barn, and that's something that you don't forget that stuff. That stays with you.
No, that builds real textured memories.
Yeah. Hey, Colin, I want to ask you.
Getting hosed down is
right.
Getting hosed down is what a great moment in time, huh?
Well, and it all it takes.
Even the horses were looking at you like, man.
Oh,
wow.
Sure, yeah. Well,
at least we don't wear pants when we do it.
Right. And who's going to clean that up? And but people, all she has to do now in any kind of a setting is just to say the word hose, and that shuts me down completely from whatever.
What a great trump card! Yeah, that
exactly. Hey, Colin, what about writing in this kind of time that we're in, where the world is just bizarre? Is it tougher to write in a situation where you write something that is as absurd as what's actually going on?
Yeah, it is. I think it's, you always are responding to the times, right? So when times are really tough and strange, I don't know. I guess that tends to be where, where things go. I mean, you think about how magical realism came out of there being dictators in South America, and people needing kind of an escape beyond what was in front of them. And I think things go to those places sometimes. They go to either an absurd place or something that takes you out of the real world. I remember Lorne talking about Steve Martin. When Steve Martin started as a comedian, he said it was sort of right after Vietnam, and everything was so political for so long,
right,
that Steve Martin kind of stuck out and exploded as a stand-up because he was doing really absurd, super funny, cerebral but also absurd comedy that had nothing to do with politics. And for people, it was such a relief to get out of that world and get into his comedy. And I think that's, I think that it seems like we might be at a moment in time like that too soon. I'm not sure.
Well, I think that's a really good point. And I just asked that question because of especially the political season. We're based in Kansas City, Missouri. And in Kansas, there is a plumber that just ran for the United States Senate. And this plumber, you would see his ads on TV, and he was water skiing, and that's why you should vote for him. And it just struck me that that's a lot of people thought that was a parody commercial, and when you see that stuff, you go, how can I top that? How can I,
Yeah, every commercial for a product now is so bizarre that you don't even know what it's based on anymore. You know, like there's no like regular commercials. Everything is crazy, and so there has to be some correction there, and I don't know what it is yet, but we're going to find out.
Well, the book is hilarious. A Very Punchable Face, Colin Jost, a memoir. Man, it's been just a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for taking the time, and great luck with the book and the rest of your life. Can't wait to see what you do.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks for taking the time.
We'll be right back here in the National Defense.